Right, I think we started.
Big up to all those in YouTube land, Blues Brothers. It's been a little minute since we've been here, and it got my co-host with the most, JK. Big up, brother. What you saying?
Yeah, you man, I'm here. Don't worry, man. I'm not late. It's
Yeah,
African
yeah, yeah,
timing.
yeah. He's not late. He's just not on time.
You guys need to understand. Listen, African timing. That's what happens with me. Unfortunately, that's something trying to overcome. So,
All right, well, we'll let him
yeah.
off anyway because it's a Sunday. Have
Mm.
you had a good day, brother?
Yeah, had a good Sunday. Quite chill, to be honest. I mean, it
Yeah,
got
it's
dark
been
quite
relaxing
quick.
for me as well, actually.
Yeah, felt like I've only just had about 2 hours of daylight. That's it.
You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you what. My dad and my mum haven't been feeling too well, and I'll tell you what, bro. They went to bed about. They were both up with terrible sweats and shit like that. They went to bed until about 7 o'clock this morning, bro. They went to bed in darkness and woke up in darkness, bro. It was
Bruv,
mad.
that's what's
By
happened
about
to me
2:30,
before.
and it was getting dark. It was crazy.
You know what it is, yeah? Do you know what my mum will normally say? Just there's no point. Just go back to bed. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because
We've all
bro,
had one of
what the
those days
hell?
where you just wake up, you look outside, and you think, you know what? Nah, I'll pass. Oh, big up the family. Everyone's dropping by to say hello. Come on, JK says my missus.
What are you
Big
telling
up
me,
DJ
guys?
Crane in the building. Oh, says DJ Crane. Big up to you, brother. Oh yeah, fucking oh yeah. It's freezing Arizona. Steve and JK need a nickname for JK. What's wrong with
Listen, it's
JK?
impossible to find a nickname for me.
What's wrong with JK? Shit.
Exactly.
Oh, big up Miss Melina in the building. Like we'll be doing a little collaboration with her on a watch along for the Arsenal game as well. So check that out and go subscribe to her channel as well.
Mhm.
Our melody is our melody. Rosie doing the housework. Big up Mel, she says. Loads of kisses in her face. Darkness, Charlie Murphy settings. What the hell, bro? Like, who the darkness? Unity. I don't know where you got that one from particularly. I remember it.
Challenge
JK said
accepted.
challenge
All right,
accepted.
listen,
We're finding you a
I ain't looking
nickname.
forward to that still. Let's see Rosie, she'll come up with some bad names.
She,
You
she,
know
she
how
knows
you
your
know
real
how she
digits
is,
as well,
man.
isn't it? She knows your real digits. She knows what the J and JK stands for.
Yeah.
But anyways, have you had time to digest what you saw yesterday, bro? Have you had time to like reflect,
Do
rewind,
it was
watch the highlights, all that?
it, you know what it is. I understand. You know what? I understand it's Charlton, but it was just a little bit refreshing. If you get what I'm saying. So
Refreshing, bruv. I didn't know if we were on Pornhub yesterday with the amount of times TT was saying he was orgasming.
I don't even get me started. This guy. Oh gosh, that was
Ah,
funny,
ah, ah, that's all I can hear
bro.
behind it, like an empty picture. Like,
Bro, bro couldn't stop. And I was like, it went to a point. I was like, bro, Ty, listen, there's only Charlton. You know, what, I don't mind, but at the same time, it was a
pause,
bit
yeah.
mad. It was getting a bit mad. You see, exactly. Pause, Wolfie. What do you mean about he was getting Pornhub?
That's what
Like,
Mel
allow it,
said.
man.
Look, read the comment.
Let me
I'm
see.
just
Let me
reading
see.
what
Let me
she
see.
said. Laugh out loud, pause.
Yeah, bro. This guy was orgasming. I don't know why, bro. But at the same time, I guess what good football. That's what good football does to a man, isn't it? But it is what it is. If he's been starving,
That's good, man.
if his man's been starving of basketball, that's what happens.
Well,
But yeah,
well, do me a favor, right? Well, we'll get into it in a second, but do me a favor. You tell me, right, what you saw yesterday.
what I saw yesterday, you know what it is the one word that we just kept repeating: freedom. That's all you gotta know. We had a dream. Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that was Biggie Smalls. It was all a dream. He used to be in World Up magazine. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know.
That's what I'll say. Yeah, but in all honesty, like if I'm actually gonna be honest with you, I think I was impressed with the way we played, controlled the game. We also attacked and also defended as a team for once, if you know what I'm saying. And I also liked how the midfield, no one speaks about it enough. I feel like the midfield was actually very compact, as in a sense of like
Yes, and the defense
exactly
once.
like we weren't the midfield was just not unorganized. We just knew midfielders were midfielders, no introverted nonsense. If you see the issues we had like over the weeks, like the fullbacks will invert, but not really stay with the six. If you get what I'm saying, that's the issue. But at least you can see Andrew Santos and Caicedo just playing next to each other. If you know a good balanced football team, the two midfielders need to be together. You know what I'm saying? Playing off each other and then progressing the ball also. So I'm so glad to see that. I'm very, very glad to see that the wingers are able to not just stay in one, s- just there's just no many instruction, if you get what I'm saying. As in, like, stop hugging the touchline, let them just be free. They need to come inside. They need to. This is the thing. This team is thriving off of like link up play. They need a bit of that. And the thing is with the that system that we were playing under Maresca as well, I felt that we've lost that because if you look at it, a lot of the teams they already know how we play now. If you know what I'm saying, they just know. You know what? Just look off the wide
Stop
areas. That's
Palmer.
where Chelsea, or stop Palmer and look off the wide areas because you know the wingers are not good at 1v1s. You know what I'm saying? And they're just going to stay there anyways. The good thing is with this system that I can see is like, you know what, the wingers are now like drifting inside. If you look at it, also carrying the ball inside, they're linking up play more. Also, as well, like when you're trying to break down, when you're trying to break down the defense, it's not only just to have three people just trying to like rush into the box or make runs. Everybody is doing it. If you know what I'm saying, everyone's creating an option for themselves, and that's what you need. Like if you saw the Hato goal as well, he came inside to score that goal. That goal doesn't happen if no one's there. Most of the times you have no one there, and someone will be crossing to no man's land. It's frustrating. You know what I'm saying? But now we're just having players just they're just they're just playing football now. You know what I'm saying? Not to say Maresco was a horrible coach. I'm actually gonna thank him for everything. If I'm gonna be honest, I know we didn't really cover, let's say, most of the, if I should say, him getting sacked,
Big up,
but
Anthony.
yeah, at the end of the day, whether this sacking will improve us or not, I don't know. At the same time, I just know, for instance, he just fell out with the board, and let's be honest, although Maresca wasn't that great, we have bigger issues at Chelsea. We need to be honest. We have bigger issues at Chelsea. The way it was the board, the owners, the whole project is just not it. If I'm gonna be honest, I mean, obviously there's
Big up.
ways to make it. Obviously there's ways to make it work, but at the same time, if you're not willing to go that extra mile to make it work, then what's the whole point? At this point you're just making profit. You're not really having intentions for the football side. But I feel that's something that we can like indulge into later. But yeah, other than that, good win yesterday. Glad to see your style of play that just allows a bit of freedom, attacking wise, and also a bit of more teamwork. Also, I want to also give credit to the defensive structure. It's better. You don't have the confusion. I don't think, and also when we were losing games, I didn't think we have a plan for off the ball. Our off the ball structure is better now. If you know you don't have the great defenders, you need to make sure you either time your press or what you have to do is just set up in a mid block in a way where it's just more organized. As in,
Yeah,
I like the way we sat
like we
five.
were saying yesterday about actually using
Exactly.
tactics.
Actually using tactics for the defense. Like, and you saw how good we were. If you look at it, the five at the back is better.
TT, you gonna join us, by the way?
Big ups, TT. I hope you join us. But but if I'm gonna be honest, yeah, very good performance. And I want to see TT's reaction. I mean, he surely he was very don't even that was funny, but still, yeah. But other than
Ah!
that,
Ah! I thought we had a
yeah.
crow in the
Okay,
background. Ah!
Wolfie, let's calm down with that. Let's calm down. Okay, but yeah.
Bro, you were there, bro. Am I making this up? Am
I mean, I was there
I making
obviously, but
any
that
of
was
this up?
crazy. It's crazy.
Bro,
Anyways,
like, I didn't know if I was sitting here on a YouTube watching them, if I was in the back saying the Jungle Book, bro, like the musical or something. Like, it was fucking hilarious the amount of noises he would make.
I know, Ty, I can't lie. What was with the noises? The orgasms.
Bro,
He,
don't get me wrong, I
he,
appreciate it. Like, he was himself and he
yeah,
was
I
just being
understand, but
chilled and all that, that, but it was just like, damn.
yeah,
Hey, come on, you're there now. You might as well. I've sent you the link ages ago. I know you've seen it. I've checked. Jump on, man. Give us because you can give us the tactical breakdown. And I know he
yeah.
likes that
I like.
stuff.
To be fair, other than that, I was happy with the performance. So now on to Arsenal. Yeah,
Well,
now on to Arsenal. Will be interesting game. Very very interesting.
hang on. Well, considering the tactic, well, are we going to line up like that against Arsenal? And that's what I was going to get
Oh
into.
hell
I wanted
no,
to ask
no
TT
no hell
about.
no. Are you being no hell no?
Well, what do you think will change? Because I'm not being funny. One thing I liked about it, like you guys like said yesterday and today, and you just mentioned as well, I like the combination play that we had between the players. People don't look
Yeah,
as regimented. People look like they were floating. Like Benetti yesterday, he was floating a little bit out of his position at times. He was
yeah,
there to trying
Buonanotte.
to link up.
Yeah,
Well,
Buonanotte.
I'm trying to get you the views first, and like I'm going to join. Yeah, come and join, man, so I can eat my dinner as well. Yeah. But yeah, I like the way that we set up with a four at the back, and when we were dropping deep and defending, we actually had a four
Mm,
because I'm not being funny. One thing I like about we're making better use of the players that we had in the squad, like Jeremy
exactly.
Ampong and Hato as well. Hato,
Mm.
sorry. Like he had a very good game. Actually, I think we actually that's probably his best performance for us so far. Actually, Hato,
And
Hato,
Wolfie,
whatever you want to call that. Like
you
he
know
actually
what's so
he
yeah, go
looked good
on.
yesterday, man. He looked like bombing up and down. He didn't look uncomfortable. He was physical when he needed to be. He didn't look
Mm,
out of place.
yeah. And Wolfie, you know what's so good as well to see is that each player that was playing, no matter what the personnel was, it was just good to see them play without no certain limitation. You know what I'm saying? So, like for
Yeah,
instance,
yeah, I know what you mean.
you have
Wasn't as
Jamie Gittins.
pragmatic.
Like exactly, he wasn't as pragmatic. You have Jamie Gittins just coming from all areas of the pitch. He was free
Another
roaming
guy
a
that
bit on the
came.
right area. This is what he's supposed to be doing, and that's what he's been doing at Dortmund. And if you look at it as
Big
well,
up, TT.
the if you look at the way look how good our fullbacks looked overlapping. First
That's
and
what I
foremost,
mean. Like
that's the thing.
Hato, sorry, he looked and Jeremy Apricot as well. Yeah, he was bombing up and down the route as well. They actually look comfortable. And the thing is, like what I like about that system was if they did lose the ball, there was still a central defender behind them. So
Exactly, that's the
So
thing.
they would cover, you know what I mean? Like, and I think Liam said it better. Like, oh, just shared the stream on Twitter. Oh, God bless you, Mel. Thank you. That was kind of you. Um, yeah, but like, it was just the fact of it didn't look, and it looked more balanced instead of being like a pragmatic system where you look like you're just trying to overload the middle
Mm,
and push up the pitch. It actually, because the one thing I would say is that the difference between what I would say an Enzo performance and a Liam performance, if you like, was the wide play because you guys mentioned as well about the combination play. It was nice to see overlapping fullbacks again, wingers, like you know what I mean, like Esteval as well.
mm,
When he came on, he was doing the same thing, like cutting in from the right and trying like and making things happen, getting the penalty. You know
mm,
what I mean? Because I will say this: for 60 minutes, there was a game yesterday.
mm.
Let's not forget that we were in a match yesterday, and the fair play to Charlton when they scored their goal, what in the second half, and it was 2-1. We just put our foot on the gas and just obliterated them.
Yep,
So,
100%.
so you know, what I mean, I do think the wide because I'm not really like Gusto, like when a couple of games ago, like when we had the first, I think the first caretaker game when he was playing wide and he got that cross and he got the assist. I think a lot of our players because they've been playing so centrally are restricted. I think the only one that's actually been asked to do that job of moving inside and dropping into the midfield as like a false midfielder, if you like, has been Reece James.
Yeah,
Everybody else, Gusto, Cucurella can do it, but he ends up pushing in the middle and then almost like acting like a secondary striker, which was a bit weird. Because I'm not being funny,
exactly. That's my issue.
because
He will
like it
get
was it was strange. Like under the Maresca system, I'm sure TT will have his go in a second, but it was weird, like how structurally the Gustos and the Cucurellas would end up as number 10s or like secondary strike. It was strange, man. It
And the
was
thing is,
strange.
no one was actually with Casado. That's the thing. No one was playing off Casado and whenever they lose the ball, and the problem is, whenever they do play through the middle and attack through the middle, they will lose the ball anyways because obviously they're not cams first and
Yeah.
foremost, and then Casado will be left on an island. This is the thing. Like Casado's, and this is why I'll be saying Casado is Maresca's important player. He's his best player. Without Casado, I'm telling you. We all see how Enzo Fernandez plays as well. I mean, he's improved a little bit. Obviously, when he
I
came
know.
in, I wanted to see
Actually, honest, I think he's actually one of our most consistent players this season.
because
And
he's goal
if you look at the
scoring. That's
goals
the
he
issue.
scored as well, he
But
scored
other
five
than that,
goals.
Wolfie, we have to be honest. If in terms of midfielding off the ball, or let's say, s- uh, unless it's a big game, at least okay, exclude the big games. Exclude the big games. on the ball as well, I haven't been impressed with Enzo Fernandez. Like, if I'm going to be honest with you,
No, the
as in
creative side of him, he doesn't make anything happen. He's not as a playmaker. He's not like he doesn't always do that defense splitting pass. I understand what you're getting at. He's
that's the
supposed to be like
thing.
our equivalent of Xavi, but he doesn't find the pockets that Xavi does.
And then
But then
Wolfie did
again,
it,
have we been set
it
up for him? Like we said about the
exactly. You can
tactical
say that
system.
as well, but at the same time, yeah, you can say that as well. But other than that, he has not. He has been disappointing. So let's see how he does under this system. But your point is really valid in the sense of like the fullbacks will leave Casado on an island because they're both asked to be playing as tens, and it just doesn't make sense. And then next thing you know, all the wingers are just hugging their touchline. It just like and it's just it's a matter of time where we just have something more simple. And if you also realize, Mark Yu didn't he have you realized Mark
Bro,
Yu
big
didn't
up to
come
Mark
short?
E, man. That guy finally
Exactly.
got a start and he played well yesterday, bro. He was
Yeah.
pressing. This is what I never understood about him as well. This was a guy you cancelled his loan and then you never played him. He
You
was
know
like
why
it
he
was
didn't play
strange.
him? Do you know why Maresca didn't play him? Because he didn't link the midfield. He didn't link well with the midfield. That's why he likes João Pedro. João Pedro always comes deep, this, that, and the other, and he tries to bring the other players to play. He needs this. This is the thing Maresca wanted. He wanted Guiu to do all the
Would
extra
that be
shit.
the ultimate downfall then of Enzo Maresca's system? And in terms, on our last TT this, uh,
Yeah.
is no, but hang on. But is that what really killed it for us in terms of the fact that we really lack a focal point when it comes to our attack?
Yeah, we lacked a vocal point because he'll tell the striker. He tells the striker to do too many stuff. That's the problem.
Well, if you're a
And
link
next thing
man,
you,
we used to have something similar to that when we used to have Idiger Johnson and Drogba. One would link to the midfield and bring everyone else to play, and the other one would just go bulldoze like the enemy defense or the
and this,
opposition.
but this is the issue. When you only have one strike on the pitch, you can't do that. That's kamikaze. Because the
Well, would you
next
be
thing you
happy with
know,
him just rotating with the lap up front with Guy then, with occasionally
because
João Pedro fitting in?
because then Wolfie, you know the strikers in today. The strikers today can't even carry the ball, let alone let's say dribble. So if you're asking my man to come deep and carry the ball, he's not Harry Kane. The only one that I think does it elite wise, like linking up plays Harry Kane. If I'm gonna be honest, dropping in, he's almost like he can play like a 10. But then the
Yeah, he's
problem
got the
is
talent as a
this
footballer where he can do. He's a bit of an all rounder.
exactly,
He can. Yeah, I'm not being funny. He's the closest thing to an English Bergkamp in the modern game. He can bring people
exactly.
into play. He can score goals. There's not a lot. To be honest, to be fair to Harry Kane, actually, there's not a lot he can't do. To be honest.
Yeah, and whether you don't
Uh,
like these strikers we have or not, Delap and Giu are they're traditional number nines, whether you like it or not. Whether they're not good, yes, we understand they might not be good enough, but obviously they're traditional number nines. They need to be told, you know what, they can link up play if they like, but at the same time, stay in the box. We need someone in there. And I like the way Giu's positioning for that goal. And these are
yeah,
the
that's
things you
the
need to
thing, innit? We
credit.
always miss like, with
Yeah,
all the chances that we create. There's never anyone actually in the box to finish, and that was nice actually. That scoring a rebound that shows that predatory instinct.
exactly. But I'm gonna stop talking.
No,
Ty,
you
you
hit
can go.
definitely here to do, brother. TT, my brother, let loose, man. While I go grab my dinner, I'll be right back.
Yeah, good. Get loose. Wow.
Well,
So it
you weren't
reminds me
last,
of a,
you weren't
Let
yesterday during the
loose.
watch along.
it reminds me of a song that I know. Get loose.
Yeah, Footloose, that one.
Yeah, Footloose.
Footloose,
Yeah, yes.
footloose,
Footloose, yeah, that
everybody
one.
footloose, down, down, down.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and I said it yesterday, and it's proved itself tonight. What I meant about why it is better to join channels like this where it's where there's no where people can take the blue tinted glasses off and they can actually say things for what they truly were. And I mean, I did my own review of the game, immediately after the game yesterday. Well, probably not immediately, but a few minutes after the game, after leaving the watch along. And a lot of what you've said, it aligns with what I kept saying in terms of having to do the comparison between Maresca ball and Rosenia ball, and the fact that it's just a debut of what it can be and how and I kept saying yesterday it's Charlton, and but at the same time, and as Wolfie was saying, it wasn't like we were just the best team against them, and Charlton was just of no threat because they had chances. They had instances where maybe it wasn't a case where they kept having a lot of counter attacks, but when they did have a lot of those chances, because they ended up having 16 shots. So clearly they must have had opportunities, but of course a lot of them didn't lead to anything, and of course they only had one really big chance, and of course they ended up scoring it. So it's not necessarily a case of all of that. But as you guys rightfully said, one of the issues, and whenever you do the comparison, because I like to rewatch games more than one time, because of course and as you guys said, yesterday was very different. I was celebrating, I was all of that, and I could have seen the whole tactical differences and all of that. But when you rewatch the game, when you're calm or when it's not in the heat of the moment, when you want to see a team win or you want to see the best result, you're able to see things that you probably didn't see the first time, and you can see certain players, application players, the way in which certain players are being utilized and all of that. And one of the things, and as you guys said, the whole thing of certain players, like the whole inverted fullbacks and fullbacks being utilized as another midfielder, as a 10, and being pushed up into the box and all that. One of the things that, of course, you're going to obviously see this under Rosenio. You're going to see certain players getting chances from rebounds, because at the same time, it's more about risk. It's about bravery, about freedom. And a lot of people don't like it because they say that, it's risky. And as we both said yesterday, JK, it needs to be a case where you need to take calculative risk. It should be a case where you just take risk for the sake of taking risk. Calculative risk, that's the most important thing. And if you do that, it's very important that you it's at a point where you realize that it's the best thing to do. And as you said, in terms of being able to push up, because it wasn't a case where there was isolation. You saw Andrea Santos, you saw Caicedo, they were always in sync. So if one pushed up, the other one was just close enough so that if needs be, they can drop deep and you can have some sort of balance. And of course, you do have the occasional Josh Achengpong who's also there. And of course, we know the customary thing, which we did see on Amorisco, in all honesty, where the centre backs are also pushed up as well to be of support to that midfield. So it's not like they're isolated and there's a disconnect from the defense and the midfield. So
I mean, that's what I hate about the Enzo system, TT.
Yeah.
The fact of the centre backs always pushed. It's kind of like the old Barcelona system when they go into a wide position and cover the space and try and increase pressure in the midfield, but also almost like becoming wing backs. It was so crazy because every time they got beaten, you're straight through at Sanchez. It's mad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So that and that is what I'm saying. But listen, I kept saying this, that I felt happy. So I know you guys mentioned it, that my whole reaction just this is one of the reasons why I don't really do watch alongs per se, because I know how I will behave, because I have a lot of passion, I have a lot of emotion.
You're joking,
yeah, that's great, bro. That's great. I like it.
No, I know it's great,
we
but
love you for it. That's it.
I like it, man.
That's why we mention it.
Yeah, but as I said, there's only a few channels where I can actually be. It's like with Rosenio ball, freedom. There's so limited places that you can be free to express yourself that way. But as I said, one of the biggest things, one of the best things that I realized. And even because I keep watching, as I said, Rosena speaks so well. He's so poised. He speak what he says, he means it, and he doesn't just talk. He also does the work, and he proves it with action as well. But one thing, when he had that Joe Cole interview, he said some things that made me say that if you give this man the opportunity, he can be very successful at Chelsea as a coach, because he says it's not just tactics. There's so many, and not even in the interview. He even said in the post match, when I don't know who asked him.
Doing the basics. I listened to that. The post match interview when he said about doing the basics.
It's everything that we've been echoing.
Practical with them.
Yeah,
I can just coach them to do things, the basic things better.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. But in the Joe Cole interview, particularly, he said that he's all about vulnerability and being vulnerable. And I know that some people said it was PR about his mother being a social worker, but those are the things you need to think about, the psychological part about players. And I study psychology and all that. So at the same time, it gives you keen a keen eye out for details. And one thing, especially when you score that goal, if I don't know if I don't know how many people saw it, but he ran straight to Rosena because you can see the fact that
Yeah,
he was so
Hugh.
grateful for the opportunity. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
Mark
grateful
Hugh.
for the
Yeah.
opportunity. He ran to Rosena and he hugged him because I'm telling you, as you said, Wolfie, he was recalled, and I even mentioned it yesterday. The problem is that he wasn't the one that they wanted to bring back because he's the
Mm.
cheaper option. You know, you have, and he's not really going to play because of the whole financial part where Liam Delap and Joao Pedro in total they're almost 100 million spent, so they have to play the more the players that have a higher price tag or what he paid for. So he's going to always be the third option, which shouldn't be the case. But as
Yeah.
you said, with Maresca football, it was a case where you had to be doing so much. If you're going to be the focal point, quote unquote, you had to be dropping deep, supporting the midfield, getting a one touch here, then
Agreed.
trying to get back up into the attack, and or linking up with Enzo Fernandez, and then going back up, and then Enzo passes it to the left. It was so much too much things. It was too robotic,
It's
and that's what I
too
didn't like.
exactly
Too
too
robotic, like it's
robotic.
yeah,
Go on.
let the game flow. And I even said this yesterday to somebody that that Rosena reminds me of three managers that we've had or head coaches that we've had in the past. In terms of certain attributes, he reminds me of a Tuchel in terms of he gives the players freedom to or he puts them in situations so that they have to find solutions because that's the only way. You shouldn't be taking that away from players. Players can only develop fully when you allow them to make mistakes, let them learn what needs to be done, put them in high pressing situations so that they find solutions. Not you telling that, okay, don't lose the ball or don't or be cautious. No, that's not how football works because it means that you're limiting the players' capabilities because you don't know how good they are. And I keep saying this to people, I'm not going to let any player that I've seen on the Maresca be judged by me because I know that it's limitation. So we saw so many players be so free. I'm not saying every player wasn't the greatest, but when you look at the ratings that they got, and most of those players got at least the lowest some of them got was probably a 7 out of 10. Garnacho got worse because Garnacho is just Garnacho. But you could see the freedom. Gittings, for example, he was one of the main standouts. The way he was coming in from the wide areas into the
What's up,
central area
Dan?
with and getting beyond people and all that. You can see how free he is because you can see it on his face. The only place that I really wish I could have seen in that game, and it's all about patience too, was the freedom that Copa would be getting. And I think Copa was going to have a wonderful time on the Rosena because he's going to get that same freedom that, although people didn't like it on the Pochettino, it really helped him and it propelled him and it gave him that understanding. And that is why when even Pochettino left, Copa was so hurt more than he was hurt about Maresca leaving because and he even said it in the Conference League final. He got sick and tired of passing backwards and sideways, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to do things my way." And that's paraphrasing, of course, but essentially that's the case. He's saying that let me do something different because it's too robotic and it's not going anywhere. But as I've said, I even said it yesterday. One of the biggest, one of the biggest things is that, of course, when you do things for over 18 months or something that's become a practice of yours for a while, it's difficult for you to break out of that habit without having consistent changes or addressing it consistently. So we still saw some moments where things were moving slowly, but overall it was more free flowing football. Fluidity was there. Players making passes that I didn't even know some of those players could actually do because I've never seen them do it on the Maresca. Crossfield passes, finding their targets and close control, and then going and attacking and having chances. Because we had 30 shots, and 16 of them were on target and all of that. So to just see that, it was just fascinating. And when I say to you that I had my own personal issues for the last 18 months, and to see that, it was less depressing because I could not watch Chelsea without feeling worse about how my situation is. So just see
that's
that.
one thing. That's actually, I will say that yesterday the football was exciting compared to how
Yeah,
it was before. That is a
yeah,
big difference here. And I
yeah,
think JK would appreciate that. The fact is, like, a lot of the time we have build-up play, nothing looks like it was going to happen. But because of the way they were changing positions, the way they were overlapping, the way they were passing and doing the little triangles with each other, it actually made it better to watch.
Yeah, and that's just the reality. But I don't want to be sounding euphoric or utopic, because there are things that, speaking about Arsenal before I came on, I know you were talking about that, Wolf, in terms of when we see certain situations like that. Of course, you're not going to see that. As I said, it's short and athletic, and I think Steps even mentioned it yesterday that they're going to allow you to have the ball. Arsenal may not necessarily do that completely. They're going to still try to, at least I don't expect them to do that. They're going to still try to press you, which we did see that, and hence the reason why Caicedo himself even got suspended. In the Premier League match that they had, and of course all of that. So we know the whole high intensity is going to be there because they rested players for that match early, because some players didn't play against Liverpool, some players didn't play against Portsmouth. So you can see that it's going to be aggressive match. It's going to be an intense game. So there's some things that still need to be ironed out. But considering it was 4 days and you could see such difference in terms of how the players are playing, the freedom, the quick thinking, and the quick movement, and the patterns are being in sync in terms of, the real occasion of being out of position and having chances where you were out of position with Hato, for example, and then the gaps that were still there because things are not going to be perfect. And of course, Badiashi with the occasional ball given away, and the Bozo gene thing showing and posting as well. You're going to see that happen. So that is some things that need to be ironed out. So it's not just saying, oh, things are perfect, because nothing is perfect. But one of the biggest things that people love about Maresca is that, you concede less, you're expected to concede less goals because of the fact that it was so robotic and it was slow, and it's about keeping the ball, but it was aimless possession. That is the issue. Aimless possession. And I keep saying it. I understood what Maresca wanted to do, but it just wasn't going to work long term because it's always limiting players, because players are second guessing
When you
themselves.
say limiting, hang on, let me, because you like to break down tactics. So let me just quickly ask you this, right? What do you mean limiting? Give me maybe what 2 big differences between what you believe is the Enzo tactics to the Liam tactics. Like, give me what you would say is what you see is different.
Okay, so and I referenced it before. Just and it's not just Gittings, but because I'm even seeing at Arsenal, for example, with Madueke. But one of the biggest things is that you don't get that freedom to try to go at defenders. It's always okay. If there's no gaps in behind, you need somebody to make that run for you so that you can get more space. So it's not, you don't take a risk, or it's rather than going and trying to beat your man. It's basically about going backwards, or trying to recycle the ball and going backwards, sideways passing, and then you try to run and then sideways passing again. You don't take on players enough. That's just an example. Next example I can probably give is the fact that
we were timid. We were very timid.
Yeah, very timid and it was cautious. Like you don't want to lose the ball. You don't want to do anything that could risk you losing the ball. So let's go backwards, because if you go back to a defender or a wing back or a fullback that is on that side, it's obviously you're not going to lose the ball because they're close to you. So you don't go at teams or opponents. Pedro Neto, for example, he before he came to Chelsea at Wolves, he would go at teams. Even for Portugal, he does that. But at Chelsea, he's always okay. Let me just turn back and pass the ball here to if it's a Gusto or a James, or if he plays on the left hand side, okay, give it to Kukurea or Enzo Fernandez. So that's what I'm talking about. The players that had capabilities before coming to Chelsea, you don't see them, and then people judge them because they don't see that. But you have to understand that the manager or the coach gives you a game plan. Of course, you decide on execution. But if the coach is telling you that if you don't do things the way I tell you, you're not going to play, then clearly you're going to have that issue. And those are the things. And as I said, because I think I'm going around in circles now, but with Rosenio, he said it's not just tactics. You have to understand why players have these issues. And one of the things that he said that made me say that, yes, this coach could go places for Chelsea as well, is that he pinpointed, and of course the fact that as an outsider, and you keep hearing people say that when we face off against teams that are quote unquote small teams, is that we get complacent. He himself said that we need to understand why the mentality drops, or why the mentality isn't there, on the fight and the aggression and the willing to win games is not really there. And that is one thing that he's going to work on. He keeps saying, I'm going to work on that because I have seen that. And that is what and because it's not Moresco, it wasn't just Moresco project. We kept seeing it for years that when we face off against certain teams, we become Charity FC, and I never understood why. We would try to beat an Arsenal, a City, a Barcelona, a PSG. When you face off against a Leeds United, which is not to disrespect the team or for example, a Wolves or whatever the case may be, it's like or we don't play at the same level, or we don't have that same willingness to really be aggressive or be intense. And Maresca did have some part to play in that because it wasn't just against low block teams, and that's one thing we saw
Yeah,
what
under Enzo, we were toothless too much. Like in terms of,
yeah
like, we never really were aggressive. I'm pretty sure JK would agree.
And
We
also,
never
guys, like
really.
even
Hmm?
even we struggle to their level as well. But then also, even when we win, like you look at the early Carabao Cup rounds this season, we barely even
very close.
we scraped past Cardiff.
Yeah,
We made it very difficult for ourselves. We dropped to their level, as Ty said. I agree. Like even games we win, like we just dropped to their level. Even the game today, I feel like we would have dropped to. Thank God we didn't drop to Charlton's level. But
Well,
at
we
the same
kind of
time,
were until the second half. This is what I'm saying. For 60 minutes, they were in a game with us for 60 minutes, bro. It wasn't, despite what the scoreline says, for 45 minutes plus, they gave us a match, bro.
yeah,
And to be honest,
yeah,
that at 2-1, two things were gonna happen. Luckily, the latter happened.
I
But in
feel
terms
like
of,
it only just. I feel like it only just got uncomfortable at 2-1. To be honest.
well, the thing is, what we did see, we saw a team of Chelsea kind of playing how Enzo would play, actually, keeping the ball
yeah,
away from them, trying to recycle possession. But then, it's like in the second half and all the combinations that we were talking about a minute ago about how everyone was doing a little bit interchanges, the little passages of play. That only came all in the second half. Don't get me wrong, there was splatterings of it in the first half, but realistically, they didn't kick into gear until the second half.
yeah,
So that's when we saw everyone doing the combos. That's when we saw everyone doing the overlapping. That's when we saw Esteval taking on people and Bennett. And I have to say, I can't wait to see how he's going to fit into this as well. Is he going to fit in as a right winger? Is he going to fit in as a number 10? Because it's kind of strange because I'm not sure, but I'm maybe TT might know this. I'm pretty sure he was brought to Chelsea to be a number 10. So.
sorry, I didn't hear who are you talking because my connection went out a bit.
No, Esteval. Is he supposed to be playing as a number 10 or is he supposed to be playing as a right winger?
I think it's more so about his versatility, but of course, I think the ten rule is obviously one of the big
Well,
things.
hang
He's
on.
very
Through
skilled
your
again.
analysis, from what you've seen, which role do you think suits him better from what you've seen?
Hmm. Based on when I used to watch Palmeiras
And
and
JK as well. I'll ask JK as well in a sec.
based on what I saw when I would watch Palmeiras and his utilization, as I said, is about versatility and fluidity, and that is one thing you didn't see on the Maresco. I think more so it's more of a 10, but a 10 that can drift wide and can offer that space for its teammates to come in. So you can have a full saying fullback, a right back or a left back. Um, Being able to push up and also be of support, like a Hato, for example, on the left hand side. That's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be at 10, but we know the whole issue of why he wasn't going to play because Cole Palmer and Cole Palmer is this and whatever the case may be. So yeah, he's supposed to be at 10. So it's about competing with Palmer, but to prevent that, because you want to utilize both of them because of how good both of them can be, he's pushed over to just be a right winger, but he's not just a right winger. He's versatile like that to be able to be a 10 that can drift wide or can be central or come from wide to central because that's the way
I
he
like him on
plays.
the right myself because the amount of penalties he always takes. This is the one thing that aggression we were talking about. That's one thing I have to say. A little spark of that throughout the whole. He's like that. He'll take somebody on. He's not afraid to drive at someone. Kind of like how Hazard was. He's not afraid to take people on. If he loses the ball, he loses the ball. But I like the fact he's ready to do it. You know what I
That
mean?
is also, and also he's quite free roaming as well. So, this is why And this is why I agree with Ty when he talks about him coming in the 10 and drifting wide as well. That can be really good for him as well. Because that's what Palmer quite kind of did. I mean, he'll play on the right, but then also drift inside as well. So them two they can accommodate each other. To be honest, I mean,
Yeah, but
but
Pedro Neto plays on the right for the main at the minute. So, who would you
yeah,
put
but
Pedro on the left? Pedro
yeah,
Neto
he
on the
can play
left.
on the left. But then at the same time, let's just see how he
Palmer will
performs under
drift.
this. Yeah, let's see how he performs because he's another player I've not been happy with. But at the same time, I can't blame him too much. But yeah, for Esteval, I think I pretty much agree with Ty. I mean, he can play as the 10, drifting in, coming into the right as well. I feel like he needs to cover the whole. He needs the whole right end of the pitch. So hence where he can link up, play with the overlapping fullback as well, and then also
Yeah, you can have space.
he can also make runs inside as well. Like that's the great thing. As I said, like this attack just needs freedom, in my opinion. We haven't really seen this attack with freedom yet. Um, if I'm going to be honest, I mean, probably we have an approach, but at the same time, most of these attackers we have, Neto wasn't really built under Poch. And if I'm going to be honest with you, even Gittins and them like, have been just come this season. So yeah, but then also there's another downside I think we need to talk about. I understand it worked this game, but I feel like the goalkeeper coming out and being a full centre
Yeah,
back,
super keeper. Yeah,
yeah, the sweeper
that's
keeper
going to be
needs to.
risky.
I think we need to we really, really, really we need to be careful with that. If I'm gonna be honest, the
Be like
sweeper
Spurs.
keeper, the
Yeah,
sweeper keeper, it cannot in the Premier League. I'm sorry, that can't run.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we didn't really do it too much, but I realized we did it towards the end of the game. If I'm gonna be honest, there were scares Charlton did. Charlton had some scares from it. If I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, yeah, it was just unlucky they probably didn't really take their chances, but at the same time, this one I need to comment about the negatives about that game. I just feel that sweeper keeper nonsense. I think that's just one thing we need to just kind of eliminate or just kind of limit, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, this is
So
why
yeah,
I asked. Do you think he'll change or stick to this formation and just alter it and adapt it,
I feel like Liam
or was this
Rosenior.
just a basic shape just to keep him like get him into shape, like get him
This is
playing,
the
and
thing,
then
like when Maresca came in, what we all knew is that he's Italian and he's going to be stubborn. So the thing is with stuff people like Liam Messina, like they're willing to learn and just, adapt. And I feel like if it gets to a point in the future where tactics like this, minor tactics like the goalkeeper playing as the centre back, he'll kind of alter it. He's more likely to alter it and also change some stuff. And also Liam Rosenior, if you look at his press conferences as well, is about doing the basics as well, but then he's also trying to adapt. He's also said he's quite big on trying to adapt to the players to the game as well. And he's also promised us that he's going to train for every team because he knows that there's a game plan for every team in the Premier League. It's not just there's games that how many times have we said there's a style of play that you have for big teams and it's not always going to work for the small teams because if you know the small teams they're gonna pack a lot of blocks. So this is another test I feel like Rosenior has to we need to see about Rosenior. The thing is, yeah, Liam Rosenior has so many tests. So let's just say the Brentford game, Arsenal game, he's got a test to see. We'll see what he does against Arsenal. I feel like Brentford. I'm really looking forward for that game. I really want to see what happens because now we're talking about the freedom that we're getting. So now let's see that in fruition against a low block, Brentford.
well, well, let, well, well, let me go into my next question then for both of you. Then, what would
Mm.
you like to see happen against Arsenal?
Ty, you want to go first?
all right.
Oh my
Um,
god.
and it's like a question that I had as well because I'm wondering, will Sanchez be coming back into the team? Will we see a Maresca type of situation where
Yeah,
um
Jorgensen's been starting over the last couple of games. I've
yeah,
noticed.
which is the question I was going to ask because he for the first match that Rosen actually watched in the stand, it was Jorgensen. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a case we're going to have a different number one because Sanchez in terms of ball playing and super keeper, I don't
Well,
know how
he
it
made a good
is.
save as well. Actually, like he
Yeah,
made that good save from that header when they scored their goal. Like he was unlucky because he saved from the
Yeah,
header from the corner, and
yeah, and then he was
literally threw
down,
back.
so he couldn't do anything. He was down, and had a clear goal.
It was a good save though, because he stretched out and he got it, but it's just
Yeah,
unlucky.
yeah, which is why I said that, in terms of, and I'm going to be sure, in terms of what we saw in Amorisco, I'm not going to judge many players because of that, because I know limitations are there, and if you don't play certain players, when they first come back into the team, they're going to need to be able to adjust, because they haven't played for so long, and that's very important. And Rossella even said it, that he was impressed with the fact that some of these players haven't played with each other before, or haven't played in a while, and they did so well, albeit it took them time to grow into the game for first 45 minutes, as he said. But what I want to see against Arsenal, and this is one thing, as JK said, one of the things is that, and I'm not saying he's like a Nagelsmann, but what you see in terms of that German gene, where it's always a case where you're able to have a game plan based on the game. So it's not the same philosophy every single game, or the same application, I
Having a
should say.
plan B. Having a
Yeah,
plan B.
having a plan B, which is what Maresca did not have. And people tried to convince me that he did, but no, it was the same thing. The only thing was like changing your chest move. So you may not use your bishop here, you may use something else there. That is the only thing that's changed. The philosophy was still the same slow build up, trying to get your opponents to come out. What I want to see against Arsenal is I want to see a bit more risk taking, as we did see it against Chelsea, but it's more calculative, as I said, because in terms of players going out of position, which we did see, as I said, Hato, which he may not start, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what is Cooker going to miss that game. I don't even know the whole suspension thing.
Bukola was supposed to miss this game only.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how long his suspension is supposed to be, so I don't even know if he's going to be
I think
available.
he'll be
So
back
we'll
for
have to
Arsenal.
But obviously James Gusto they weren't even in the squad, which a lot of people people were complaining about and were cursing and saying you need your captain to start and your captain to at least be on the bench, which I agree sometimes. But you need to give these players that get a chance to play under Maresca chance to play and freedom and trust
No,
them.
he'll be available because the only
Okay.
it's one match. They're only saying he got a one because it was Chelsea
only
left already
yesterday.
serve a 1-match suspension following his red card in Wednesday's Premier League defeat to Local. The Spaniard received a straight red for pulling Harrison when he was running through on goal. But after the offence for Lisa denial goals, it's only because it's just the denial of a goal scoring opportunity and it wasn't violent
It wasn't
conduct or
dangerous.
anything like that.
If it was
It's only
dangerous,
one
play
game.
3 games.
Okay. So that means that what I want to see may actually happen then, because Kukurea, the thing with, as you said, and I don't remember who said it when I was listening before I came on. Probably was both of you, in terms of it wasn't just inverting fullbacks. You have I keep saying fullbacks, but you have your right back and your left back. They're
That was
being
me playing
overlapping
wide,
fullbacks.
finally playing wide. Yeah,
Not just
stretching the pitch.
The overlapping.
And all that. So I want to see that, and of course, despite Kukurea missing the game against Charlton, of course, we did see that. For people who actually watch here and not say, "Oh, it was PR," the first training session that was for PR for sure. You could have seen little sneak peeks of in-game management and all that, because you could see like where Kukurea should be and running up and him saying Esteval, stop, Pedro, all that. I want to see Kukurea at his best. The Brighton Kukurea and the brief what we saw in the two in terms of overlapping, because we have not seen a crossing of these sprints, because they're able to do crossing and just overcrowding the box, because when you even overcrowded the box on the Maresca, we weren't getting to crosses. I mean, we saw against Fulham where crosses were just going astray because all of that.
Right.
So what I want to really see is risk taking. I want us to go man to man at times, but be calculative. So just like how what we've seen in the first match with Andrea Santos and Caicedo.
He played well yesterday as well, Santos, when he came on.
Yeah.
He played. I like him, man. I think we've got a talented player right there, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So if I'm not sure if he's going to play against, or if he's going to start against Arsenal, but I want to see that balance where the midfielder in sync is not leaving one midfielder to do all the work. So if you're on the counter attack, it's one against 3, and the centre backs having to get back into position. I want us to be man to man as well, because you have to do that against Arsenal. Portsmouth really showed that you have to go at them as well. Don't give them too much respect. And all of that. So if we do that, if we allow the players to be who they are and not limit them, then I'm fine. And as I said, Rosenio, he does change the way in terms of how you go up against teams based on the opponents. And it's but the philosophy remains the same, that you should be filled with intent. You're supposed to be aggressive or intense, I should say, and having that willingness to take risk, calculated risk, and not be cautious or toothless or no, we have to just try to recycle the ball. And if you go back to this to the goalkeeper, it's supposed to be to recycle, to restart a build up, not to go back because we're afraid of losing the ball. No.
Fair enough. So you just want to see what you saw last night. You just want him to be aggressive, be on the front
Yeah,
foot.
but the super keeper part needs to be ironed out, because that's going to be risky, especially with Sanchez, because Sanchez is not the best ball play. And I don't like goalkeepers being playmakers. I miss the old days where goalkeepers were just goalkeepers.
Yeah, you
But
stop the ball when the back of the net. Yeah, I know.
yeah, and modern football has really changed the opinions of what goalkeepers should be. And a lot of goalkeepers that are good enough at shot stopping, that's not good enough anymore, because you need to be good with the ball at your feet. So that is the biggest issue right now. And a lot of the ball playing goalkeepers or playmakers, they're not good at shot stopping. Anderson, for example, he wasn't the greatest shot stopper, but he was able to do his thing here and there. But the over the top passes, finding the likes of and even not even Edison, Allison as well, finding Salah in the good seasons or that. So that's what I want to see, essentially, to put it short.
Fair enough. JPT. I need to ask him what he wants to see, but I'll message him in a minute. But JK, what do you think we'll see?
Ty pretty much echoed everything, to be honest.
No,
I
you want to
agree.
see
I agree.
aggressive front foot football?
I agree. I agree with what Ty said. To be honest, like and also the downsides as well. I agree with that as well. As in the goalkeepers, I actually miss goalkeepers just being goalkeepers.
Yeah,
Just
just stop the
nonsense.
ball
So
going in the back of the net.
yeah, it's nonsense that they have to play out centre backs. It's the modern game thing. At the same time, is another stupid altercation. Or not altercation, but altering that the game has to bring. But yeah, at the same time, play the same way. I wouldn't say play the same way, but play with passion, play with heart, do the same thing you did against Charlton, but at the same time also put 110% into it more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's Arsenal. At the same time, I ain't that confident, but at the same time, we just have to see. You see, in the group chat, I was raging. I was raging. When we lost to Fulham, I was pissed
Yeah, I know.
because it was crazy. So I was saying, well, and going back to Anthony's comment, he was talking about Anthony was talking about, what, certain people, say that they ain't gonna what your score predictions. Some people think that they don't have a chance. You know what? I said that we don't have a chance, but at the same time, we'll have to just see. I'm not really gonna put a prediction. Um,
No,
I,
no, I'm not asking him with a prediction. I just
Mhm.
asked what you like to see. So you ain't
but
worry
all
about
I'm
being
saying
specific.
is play a strong 11. Um, Go full strength. This is a cup tie. This is a chance to go to the final too. So we need to make sure we kill off the first half. But I don't think we're gonna do that. I don't know if we're gonna do that because if I'm gonna be honest, Arsenal, their defense is very very good. I'm telling you, like if despite of all our good attacks and how we're good in a big game, they're very very good at attacking, defending. What I can say with the Arsenal game is like, you're gonna see much of a very slow paced build up as well. And also, I commented something on Tony Gunnar Claude's thing. I think what's it called? Yeah, because I think Bargvag was there. I think that's his name. Yeah, Bargav
Bargain,
was
yeah.
there. Yeah, Bargav was there. He was with Tony Gunn and Claude. I commented something on his chat, and I said, "Why do Arsenal never play through the middle? They're always crossing the ball, always trying to play wide. So if we can look up those wide areas, I think we can get them. That's the thing. Because if I'm going to be honest, the way they build their attack as well, I don't really rate it, to be honest. So it's
Now
all
going
about
forward,
just
Arsenal ain't the strong. They're good at being hard to beat, but like our style, it's very pragmatic. So
yeah,
Mhm.
there's
it's
not
very
a
very
lot of fluency
pragmatic.
to it.
And I feel like the over line on set pieces Even like today, they played Portsmouth. They needed two scrappy goals. They were 1-0, but at the same time, you do everything to win. To be fair, I'm not even against it. If I'm gonna be honest, this is how we used to win again.
Yeah, we
Jose
used to
Mourinho
be
used to win
scrappy.
this
Yeah.
way. Yeah, exactly. It used to be scrappy. I used to love it. So the thing is, I just don't know if they. I don't know if they're gonna win the league with it. But at the same time, if they do, as much as I hate them, I have to respect it at the same time because that's what I grew up on my team doing. If I'm gonna be honest, but at the same,
That's a long way for them. But for me,
yeah,
I just want to see when we get an opportunity against Arsenal because we normally make an opportunity. Just take it.
just take the
Yeah,
chance. Yeah. Another thing as
yeah.
Just
well, we
take
need to be
the chance.
clinical, and this is why I want to ask the panel as well. Um, would you guys stick with Delap, or would you guys let Delap play, or would you let João Pedro come in?
I would let Pedro Neto play, to be honest.
No, up top.
Yeah, that's what I mean up top. Because one thing about I wouldn't mind seeing Esteval on the right
Okay.
or get well. Actually, no, you could actually do it the other way. You might because if Palmer plays,
Mm-hmm.
it depends. Because
Like a false nine.
well, it depends whether he goes full strength or not. If he still treats it like a cup competition, it depends. Because
Surely he's not
I
gonna
don't
treat this.
know. Because I'm not being funny. What would you say was our best front three?
I mean, we don't know. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. But I would say, because I'm not being funny, yeah, if the lap's going to go physical with Gabriel and Saliba all day long, he's going to get fucked up because he's not good enough yet. He may develop into a player that's good enough, but he's not good enough yet to take both of them on his own. I can just see him getting carded and elbowing and shit happening again. So,
mm,
Oh gosh.
no, but it's true though, because he's a
I
physical player,
know.
but
It's true.
he's a physical player, but it's one of those ones where if he has a bad game, that's a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah.
So, and
yeah.
I'm not being funny. Composure is going to be the word of the day. Keep concentration.
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of as I said, it's really complicated because I'm of course we've seen around what 6 months or probably not exactly 6 months, 5 months and a half of what Maresca utilized the players and who he utilized in certain matches. And the thing is, even with João Pedro was even inconsistent because he had moments like against Newcastle where he was able to be aggressive and handle the aggressive. And of course, Arsenal and Newcastle are two different kettle of fish. They can be good enough defensively at times,
but
but also they're
Newcastle
not.
will batter you. They'll rough you up just as much as Arsenal
Yeah,
will. I'd agree with that. With
yeah.
that, like Bruno Guimaraes, and I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, so, but João Pedro, he was able to. I think he floored. I don't remember who it was. He floored him for the goal that he scored. I think it was a
Oh, the
pass from
French guy.
Sanchez. Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
his name. And then he was able to get the better of him and be physical because he
I think
has
it
a
was
bit of
Tao.
physicality in him, but at the same time it's not consistent. So that's why I would like, as you said, we don't really know our best three is because it was always either changing or the players were just inconsistent. So it's so I don't know, but I want fluidity. So maybe we can utilize a false nine thing. As I said, Rossinier changes certain application based on the opponent, and I hope it doesn't go too weakened against Arsenal because it's a cup competition. It's two leg, but because he's still trying to understand and as much as it's a double-edged sword for me because the games that he's managing right now it's very competitive matches. It's games that obviously you have to be your best in, which is good and bad because it really makes you realize who he is as a coach, how he handles the demand. But at the same time, like it's so new, and the players are going to need some time to really bed in or to understand or adapt to what he wants them to do. So you may not see the best of it, but I mean, Charlton is just one game. It was a dream start because of the fact that as JK said, when we faced off against like a Lincoln City, or they could have beaten us against Moresco or under Moresco, when
Yeah.
they played against us. So you could really see all of that. And as you said, Wolfie, one of the biggest things is that for the first 45 minutes, it was a lot of frustration. But for the goal that had to go, that is what I want us to do. Take more shots, not being let's go backwards or let us give the ball back to the midfield or try to rebuild up again and letting them get deeper and deeper. No, that's not how you beat a low block. You go at them and you keep forcing them because eventually they're gonna have to break. Because if they leave gap, if they don't mark one player that's on the wide area, then they're gonna leave that player open and they can just cross the ball into the box and then anything can happen. So take shots and then rebounds can happen. That's how football works. Anything, the ball can deflect out somebody and go behind the goal.
Yeah,
go
make
beyond
things
the goal.
happen. Like you
Yeah.
were saying earlier about being aggressive on the front foot, like
Yeah.
send balls into the box, take shots, to see if it
Yeah.
hits off someone's. Kind of like we were doing under Mourinho, really. Like that's how Mourinho was a big fan of that. Just let off a box in the shot. Sometimes it might ricochet and go in, and that's what Joe Cole and them lot used to do. So why not? Why not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and it's going back to the basics, and that's the thing. Go basics because it's not what as I said yesterday, and JK said it as well. It's not like we're asking for football that's going to blow our minds every time. But when you do the basics, when simplicity matters, keep it simple. Don't overthink things, and that is one thing that Maresca. I almost said Pep, but yeah, Pep does it as well. Maresca does, or what he tends to do, because that's just his philosophy over every team he's been at. Be very cautious and overthinking and we're playing against this team, so let us do this in opposed to this. So it's all about that, and that is what I want. Be very brave, and that's why Coruscant's way of being very brave. And
Yeah,
it goes
like
back to
JK said,
this.
just give it your all. Try, actually try it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you lose when you go down swinging, but if you go down, you look like a bunch of idiots. That's different.
And that's the thing too. And I have to give people a lot of credit for as well, because they are right. With Maresca versus Rossenia Ball, it's going to be a different thing because you lose less games under Maresca because you get more draws. But on the Rossenia, you may lose a few more games, but you will also win a lot more games because you're going to be taking more risks. So the whole rebounds, because it's not like we don't have chances where players are going to be in the box. We had that issue with Maresca where we did have a lot of players in the box, but the balls were not getting to them, or it was going over their heads. That is what you see on the rest of it. You still see overcrowding of the box a few times, but you'll also have options that you can call upon that will have the capabilities. Because Enzo Fernandez, as much as I don't really rate him like that, he can strike a good ball. Caicedo can strike on a real occasion a good strike from outside the box. A Cole Palmer, we know he can do it. And if the other player, and even at Neto, if you give him the chance, because I remember, was it on the Maresca as well? When
Neto's a
I
good
know that
ball
was,
striker.
Yeah, when he scored the volley.
Yeah,
When he
exactly. So
scored the volley.
that's it. So I'm saying the players have the capabilities, but we've
Oh, they
not
can hit the
seen
ball,
it.
definitely. We've got a lot of it. That's the thing about Maresca as well. Considering we have a lot of what you would consider expressive attacking players,
Yeah.
it's a shame how restricted they all seem. That's the be all and end of what we were getting about it. It's just like, why would they not shoot when they get into the box? Why would they always try and look for a pass? Why was Gusto as a number
Because
10?
it was all about just keeping the ball, the pragmatism, all of this.
Yeah,
Like,
and it
Let's
was
keep the
also,
ball.
instruction.
If you don't lose the ball, you're good. Don't lose
I
the
mean,
ball.
Ty, Maresca said it himself. He told Sanchez if he kicks the ball, if he kicks the ball
Yeah,
high,
you're gonna
he's
be
getting subbed off.
substituted.
You see,
Yeah, you're not playing.
controlling.
You're
Right,
controlling.
well,
That's what you could, and that's the
the,
irony.
the final nail in the Enzo Maresca coffin will always be, for me, if you look at someone who's been in a job similar to his in the same amount of time. Like over the last 2 years, you look at what Luis Enrique has done with PSG. They've got a philosophy of football. They know how to play to their strengths. They utilize their players in the best way. And he's done what? He's been in 2 seasons, 2 full seasons. If you
Yeah,
don't
just 2
include this
seasons.
one,
And it's one and almost a half, or probably it's 16 months or something like that. But
but you look how much better they look, considering 2 years ago everyone thought they were a joke. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it, and the thing. I mean, you have to think about the fact that they won what they won. That's very important
Thank you, Mel.
to think about. So I mean, it took them so long, and that is what. And the thing is, this situation is. I'm not going to say it's exactly like ours. They have a bit more experienced players, but it's still young players as well. So it's not like
Dembele went there. He was a joke. He flopped at Barcelona.
Yeah.
This and So same thing with Luis Enrique as well, strangely enough. Because Dembele would have been there when Luis Enrique was there. So
yeah, and that's what you call being able to alter and to learn and and evolving. And I think and
we
as you
didn't
said,
evolve under
stubborn.
Maresca. I don't think we evolved under Maresca at all.
No, we
I
didn't
think we
evolve.
were very
We didn't
static.
progress either. We didn't progress because we've done worse than we did at this juncture last season.
Well, that's why I
So
preferred Poch, because at least on Poch you could see he was on the up.
yeah,
When he got sacked, let's be honest, I don't like Poch, right? Let me state for the record,
yeah, yeah.
I hate Poch just because of his Spurs roots. Yes, I am that petty. I'm that old school of a Chelsea fan.
Okay,
But
and it's
when you
different. It's
look
different.
when you looked at his season in charge compared to, like, say, Enzo's season in charge, yes, we won a trophy and a trophy we were expected to win. Yes, what really gave him so much credit in the bank was we beat PSG in a competition that for me still doesn't matter. The Club World Cup is a post-season trophy. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing I will say is the only thing that I'd give that trophy any credit for was because it was birthed and that was its initial season after the revamp. Because it's just really a Super League, and everyone hated the Super League a few years ago, but now because it's called the Club World Championship, everyone loves it. But yeah, but for me, like, with Poch, right? You could see us with the players coming back, and me and TT were talking about this yesterday. When the players were coming back, you could see them getting better. You could see Jackson was finding the net more regularly. Palmer was like doing good.
In Kunku as well.
In Cuckoo stuff, yeah, because and I'm not being funny. In TT mentioned that yesterday as well. The great robbery. Look how good like in Cuckoo looked in pre-season. Then I think it was his ankle, when he fucked his ankle, and that was him. Like so, it happens to certain players. They get injuries, and that's it. That they're never the same again. Torres, Owen, whatever, and it can come whenever. But the one thing I would say about under Poch compared to Enzo is, at least when it came down to going forward, even if sometimes you could say we couldn't defend, I think going forward we were better under Poch. We had more to us.
I mean, look at it, 4-4 against City.
Yeah, but the thing is, you look at the dynamic now, right? We've actually got more holes than what we started off with last season, because at least Jackson did a job. He banged a hat-trick at Spurs. He could score. If you gave me what he got, last season he got 12, 15 goals.
Yeah,
for a 21-year-old, actually, that weren't bad.
But then either ways, guys, what we're not mentioning, the con of Poch was that he couldn't coach a midfield. He couldn't coach this midfield properly.
I agree with you, but at least
and if I'm going to be honest, most of the goals we conceded were because of easy turnovers. And the issues was this. To be honest, if you look at the way Poch set up, when we were winning games and we went on a great run, what he did, he was the one who actually invented inverting Cucurella, if you remember. He was, but then the difference is between him inverting Cucurella would actually stay and play with Casado. As he lets the rest of them go up. You know what I'm saying? Because remember at the time we had Conor Gallagher as well, and then Enzo Fernandez was there. I also think I like the way I also like the way he played. I actually like the way he coached them, Conor Gallagher. But then also that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. So I feel like he kind of tweaked something well with the midfield. Him inverting Cucurella and him just Cucurella just staying there, just staying at the back. No, don't play him as a 10. It just didn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Pochettino, he kind of kept it basic. So when we had defensive cover, that I remember because of that, the transition, we didn't really get transition so much. Like, we just stopped them each time. There was just someone there. Cucurella or Caicedo will cover up ground, and then we just restart. We were probably dominating games at the time. If you remember, guys, there was a game that we played against West Ham. We beat them 5-0. I think those are one of the games that just, yeah, exactly. Those are one of the games I just look back and then I'm like, these are one of the games I just keep watching back. If you get what I'm saying. I mean, as the Chelsea fan, you have these old games where you just want to watch back.
Those what I get with that? Ajax Chelsea 4-4 on the Lampard, bro.
Yeah, that as well. There's so many games I can go through. I want to watch. I always watch back, even if you just go back to.
Yeah, of course, bro. Yeah, my favorite one that still gives me goosebumps, though, the Napoli 4-1 at Stamford Bridge, bro. When Ivanovic scored the winner, bro.
Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking nuts when you scored that live.
I don't know whether it was Trophy Day, but remember the 8-0 Wigan. Sorry,
bro. 7-2 Aston Villa, 8-0
That as well.
Wigan. Who was it? No, who was the other one? The Sun. Carlo Ancelotti, bro. Anyone that defeated us in the Premier League come
Yeah,
to
they wouldn't
Stamford
beat.
Bridge
We
and they
beat
got
Villa
six
5-0,
foot
no?
bastards.
Was it?
That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
The only ones
And
that
then
got
there was
away
the
with it
Burnley
was City.
game.
They done a double on us that season.
Then there was the Burnley game where we won 2-1, 14-15
Oh
season.
my
If you
days.
remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we won
The
2-1, but
Arsenal
then
fans in the chat. Who remembers Baku?
yeah, I always read that as well. I
4-1
always
when
rewatch that.
Giroud went, hello Arsenal, bye bye Arsenal.
And I guess the PSG game will also be rewatched. I think it was one of our best performances I've seen as well. I'll give credit to Maresca for setting up tactically for that
I
game.
tell
To
you
be
what,
honest,
you know what it is, right? With
Wait,
that,
yeah.
when did we win? When did we win 5-0? When did we win 5-0?
what against West Ham?
Yeah, what was
I
it?
think
Was
it
it
was
on the pitch or
5-1
was
Under
actually.
Pochettino,
I think
remember
it was 2 seasons ago. I think at home,
it was at
and
home.
it was. I think it was 5-1 actually, not 5-0.
We were 3-0 up in the first half, and then we scored the next two.
Jackson scored.
Yeah.
no, that was no that one of Poch was 5-0. The one on the Morisco was 5-1.
Oh, was it?
Oh
That was
yeah,
last
I'm
season
talking
then.
about we're talking
That
about
was
Yeah.
last season
Pochettino's
then. The
at Stamford
5-1 was
Bridge.
last season. So
Yeah, we're
right,
talking yeah, but yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Another
sorry,
good one to watch back as well. By the way, if you like to watch memory lane and watch a team put 4 past Barcelona, go watch Chelsea 4, Barcelona 2 at Stamford Bridge when we just ripped them apart in the first half. Ronaldinho and them lot as well. No, because one thing, that's the thing, yeah. Nowadays in football, you're used to one team absolutely battering the other because once one gets to the advantage, it almost goes lopsided. But when you had proper teams back then, who had good players all round, but that's the difference between them and nowadays. Back then, players were professional footballers. Nowadays, they're professional athletes, and that's why they're not as good, bro, because they don't enjoy the game as much. They don't love it. They're not hungry for it. Bro. They don't do no more Nike ad, bro. When was the last time you had a good Nike advert with the Brazil team in the locker room? Was like, why don't you get shit like Jonga anymore? When you got the Brazil,
my days.
you don't. There's no joy in football anymore.
Bruno Fernandes has been hacked.
Yeah,
I've been seeing that. Mel's big up Mel
Oh
by the
my
way.
gosh,
That made me laugh. That.
oh my god.
I thought he was going to go the whole 9 yards. The person who's just hacked his account said Ineos in.
no,
There
that's
you
funny.
go. But look, we're going to leave it there. We're going to wrap it up because we've been going an hour and 15, and I'm not going to lie, I've got to do some little bit of cleaning up. So, anyway, TT, you got anything coming over the weekend or back end of the weekend or tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. I mean, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about if that will happen, but I know that Mel had said that she would want to, to do a little, discussion for a preview. I'm not sure if that will have any sort of seeds being planted. I'm not sure. But I don't really have much planned. I may do a player profile video, but possibly. I'm not sure.
What's he growing? I'm telling Jack Sparrow, mate. Sorry. But yeah, well, either way, then like and subscribe to Chelsea Sessions. Keep an eye on his content. He's my go-to person when it comes to player profiles and tactical.
Big ups, people.
Big up to JK as well, the co-host with the most. He kind of went quiet for a little while, but he came straight back into the convo there. I think it was about 10-15 minutes. We just let TT talk, bro. That was it.
Sometimes I just like to listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell JK's got bare zen, bro. He'll be one of those ones sat next to the beach just listening.
No, but then if you actually meet me, sometimes I'm quite of a character. But yeah.
Oh, I know you're a good character, man.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be here otherwise,
It depends. But yeah.
Big up Stepsy in the chat. Big up to you. Big up DJ Crane. Big up the boss from Canada, Miss Melina. Check out all the previews and stuff. We'll be doing a watch along with her on Wednesday as well. Keep an eye out for that.
Melina.
And this is what I was about to ask JK as well. Are you free tomorrow to still come on with Tony? Yeah.
Yeah. What time is it? 6?
It's at 6 o'clock though.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll come on. This thing at 8 p.m. I'm doing something, so I'll come on.
No, we're not going to be there for 2 hours, bro. It's fun. No
Yeah,
way.
it's calm. All right, cool.
Uh,
I'll come on
we're
for
gonna
like
be here for
6.
2 hours.
Yeah, for
Um,
like 6, and then 7:30. I'll probably go.
yeah. Don't worry, bro. Don't worry. Yeah, it ain't gonna be that long, bro. Don't worry.
All right, cool.
There ain't that much to talk about between Arsenal and and Chelsea, man. Like, it's not that
Mm.
much. Not unless we talk about like all the mad tweets that are gonna come out of Fernandez's account today.
Bro,
But yeah, big up to DJ Crane as well in the building. Big up to you. Big up to Aces as well. Drop by with the Man United news that Michael Carrick's taken over. Fair enough. I'm sure.
is it true?
Puzzle loves
Is
that.
that true?
I don't know. I need to check it. I was
He's
eating dinner
managing
and I was thinking
Middlesbrough.
that, bro. Huh?
Isn't he not managing Middlesbrough? No,
No, I don't think so. True
he
Cop,
is.
big up to you. Dimes in the building
No,
as
no,
well.
no, 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 no. No, he definitely is not a Middlesbrough because I did a video on the
You're
Middlesbrough
going
coach.
for
Steve
hours about
Milberg.
this stuff. I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
Leave
No,
Tony
he's
alone.
not.
So I'm talking about DJ Crane. So sorry. Yeah, but big up Rosie as well.
The stars are lining.
He's like that. Big
Oh,
up
that's
Mrs. as
funny.
well in the building. Mel, Rosie, big up to yourself. Have I missed anybody? Oh yeah, that's it. There's Anthony. Big up to you, Anthony. Obviously, Chelsea Sessions. Like and subscribe to him.
You
Like
see,
and
go back
subscribe
to
to
Anthony's
Mel.
comment. Go back to Anthony's comment.
Which one?
The one where you greeted us. His first comment. The one that you just went before this one. Before this
Yeah,
one.
1 minute. I need to scroll back up to find it.
Yeah.
Any particular reason? Yeah, no, where is it? I just had the blasted thing.
You just had it on.
Yeah, I know.
Hang on.
No, I didn't. Oh, there he is. Big up Wolfie. I've just Joe told Arsenal I'm knocking off the pitch this week. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay.
See? That was me. But remember, I was angry.
Oh, don't worry about that, man.
Yeah,
We'll,
that's
we'll
what I
be
was trying to
bantering
explain.
them. We'll be bantering them soon, anyway. But yeah, look. Big up to TT. Big up to my co-host of the most, JK. Well, we're gonna sign off now because I need to go and finish off washing up my dinner plate.
All right, in a bit, guys.
Huh?
Enjoy your night. I'm a bounce.
Yeah, me too. But everyone, stay safe. Good night. We're out here. Peace.